Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahweh Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Kwakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Grimmy Stone Rule Well and to the Akim in this last days and time, preaching the gospel for Mashiach Yahushai. Alright? And, it just makes you wonder how much damage our people has endured at the hands of these Edomites. Alright? And it just, it pricks your mind, it makes you, ask the Most High, to help you cope with the trauma of being a nation robbed and spoiled, all right? And I'm just going to get quick to this, short news report about the findings up there in Canada of the bodies of the Gardite children, right? So-called Native American children found in mass graves, on the so-called residential school property, and you just makes you reflect on how the government and the Catholic Church, how they operate, to keep our people at the bottom, to make our people fools for the enterprise. And you just ask yourself, wow, how deep does the so-called conspiracy go? And you just realize, what, it's just a plan, to get rid of the house of Israel, all right? Because the so-called Latinos and the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Negroes are Israelites, all right? Are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, right? And you just have to endure, the evil that these so-called white men, has been visiting upon our people, all right? And it's only the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai that can get us out of here, all right? Out of the grips of debt, all right? So I'm going to read a quick precept. It's going to be from the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 32. All right, just a quick precept. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 32. All right. Yeah. So it reads, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail wilt longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand." Yep, that describes our nation to a T. All right, it even happened over there in South America too, Central America. Even the time of the slavery of our people. The Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negroes. You see how our foreparents, were moved from plantation to plantation, how our children were being split up and all that. So you just have to live with that generational trauma that the Lord said was going to happen unto us. And that just proves to you, who our enemy is, all right? And always has been. And the Lord hasn't changed. The Lord has already set up this so-called white man, the Edomites, to be our enemy, all right, from generation to generation. And there is no mending fences with them because the Lord did not create that avenue to have, a kumbaya moment. So let me play this clip real quick.
Good evening, Jung is off tonight. We begin with a heartbreaking discovery, almost too horrific to comprehend. The remains of 215 children, some as young as 3 years old, have been found buried near Canada's largest former residential school in Kamloops. Today, emotional reaction is pouring in from Indigenous leaders and residential school survivors. And a warning, the details are disturbing and may be triggering for some viewers. CTV's Allison Hurst reports from Kamloops.
The investigation is still in its infancy as the community is still learning more details about the disturbing discovery. But the idea that remains were here has long been spoken of, but not documented. Buried near the former Kamloops Indian Residential School, a heartbreaking discovery. The remains of 215 children.
It was devastating. It was actually quite mind-boggling. And it brought some of us to tears.
Some as young as 3 years old.
Yeah, so what do you expect the enemy to do? The curse, fell heavily upon our nation, and the damage that was done to us is it's indescribable. And I'm going to get another precept from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. All right, it tells you that our people was going to discontinue from their heritage, and what the government and the so-called Catholic Church, whatever church they want to call themselves, whatever educational foundation they want to call themselves, played a vital role in making sure that our people, were separated, mentally and psychologically, from dealing righteously with one another, and even dealing, in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai Shema Kadash. So Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4 reads that, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Yeah, and that's how the enemies of our people were able to move in on us and cause irreparable damage. And that you could see that till this day. You see it with the protests on the street. You watch the news reports. You see the manipulation, from the elites that they put out there on the airwaves to keep our people subservient. And when you look at the school system, it doesn't really promote, the knowledge of our heritage. All right. So all it does is just keep our people down and backwards, man. And you see the results, man. You see the results in the criminal justice system. Okay. So it's not as if you go out there looking for tragedy. It's just right there in your face. All right. Look, you just understand that so much evil that our people have to deal with. Okay. And then I'm going to read from the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 44, verse 22. It says, yea, for thy sake I will kill all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Yeah, and it's truly evident that these elite Edomites, they want the birthright back, and they're going to do everything they can within their power to make sure it happens, but they can't succeed because the Mosai has already set the limits of how far they can go. All right, because you see the elites on TV screaming that the underserved communities that they need to be focused on more so they could get priority when it comes to the jab. When it comes to equity, that they need to have you know, vehicles for, for of investments to make sure they're able to participate in the, in the wealth creation of America, aka Babylon the Great. Yeah, so that's what they're gonna put on TV to make people think that they have a stake in Babylon. And quick precept from the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. I'm going to read from verse 4 to, let's see, from verse 4 to 7. So this is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Shai, Bashem Rakadash of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. So the judgment that the Lord is bringing upon America is going to be disastrous. All right. So verse 6 says that I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand. All right. So the Lord gave us over into the hands of our enemies. All right. Into the hands of these American elites and their counterparts. All right. Up north and down south in the Americas. All right. Then it says, even in the Caribbean. All right. Then it says, thou didst shew them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Yeah, so I mean, what else? What else can you say? The Lord is accusing, Edom, the so-called white man, of what he's done to our people, and Esau don't have no defense, man. It doesn't have any excuse to give to the Most High because he was caught red-handed. The evidence is there. All right. So another precept I'd like to get would be from the book of Job. Job chapter 20. I'm going to read from 10 to 11. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. All right. So the descendants of the Edomites, descendants of the elite, they want to make us if they are, what you say, man, concerned with our well-being, but they are not. It's just what you call lip service. Prime ministers or chair chairmen or chairwomen or spokesmen of different foundation or media groups want to try to console our people. That's not going to work. All right, because in the kingdom they're going to have to pay the ultimate price. Then verse 11 says, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Yeah, so the evidence is there, man. Every accusation that the Lord has brought against these elites, it sticks, and they say, out of out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. The evidence is in their being, man. It's in their bones, man. Their thoughts. All right. Even the so-called skeletal structures, man. If the Lord start doing some, examination, He show you all type of atrocities they've engaged in. So it just makes you wonder, man. Makes you wonder, you know, when is this gonna stop? But hey, we're almost out of here, man. We're almost out of Babylon.
What was heard was, and what they were told was that when children were missing, that they were told they ran away.
I felt for all of the students that I went to school with, And then I felt for all of the parents who missed their children and they never came home. All of those little ones who were buried with no dignity at all.
The remains were found by the Tecumloops Tusekwetmik Band using ground-penetrating radar.
We want this to come to resolve. We want people to know that this history is real. The loss of the children is real.
The residential school was Canada's largest and closed in 1978.
The beatings that people used to get.
Jeanette Jules went there.
You hear clunk, 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 clunk up the stairs. And it's one of the security guards. And then you start hearing whimpers. And the whimpers are because here's the guy that molests people.
This discovery, reopening old wounds of the horrifying treatment of Indigenous children.
Oh, little one.
Yeah, so that's what we have to do with as a nation, man. The trauma. You know, the scripture talks about, you gotta mourn with those who mourn. So when your fellow Israelites of the tribe of Gad is mourning, you're mourning with him because we're a nation of people, all right? So, the Lord has to, fix the situation for us, man. And final precept I'd like to read will be from the book of Matthew chapter 18. All right, we'll read from verse 10 to verse 11. It says, "Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven." This is what the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai cautioned his disciples about. And you could tell, you can't tell me that the so-called Catholic Church you didn't know about this precept, and then man, they don't understand the consequences of that. The other precept says that we're better for that person that a millstone be hung around that person's neck and be at the bottom of the sea with it. All right. And then verse 11 says, "For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost." Yeah. So all the evil that these Edomites have perpetrated against our people, the Lord is going to pay them back for it, twofold, and it's just the right thing that our Lord is going to do, all right?
Were put on cattle trucks and brought to the school and deloused and separated from their own family. And, it's heartbreaking.
And brings even more questions.
If it happened here, has it happened at the other Indian residential schools? Because this was, something that, a mass grave like that was never marked, never known, and all of a sudden, in May of 2021, it's been discovered.
At the memorial, signs and flowers are left as everyone navigates the painful path forward. These are the preliminary results. The band is still waiting for its official report. The coroner service is assisting in the investigation.
You already know there's more. That 215 is nothing compared to the thousands and hundreds of thousands, all the way from the north all the way to the south. Yeah, so, our people, man, we have a long way to go in terms of healing. And, we're in that season of healing. That's what the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai, sent his spirit out there upon the apostles to console our people and, get ready to be delivered. And that's upon there I came, this is part of the bitterness of the gospel that we have to deal with. So with that being said, just say, Kal Halam Yamla Yahweh Bashim Asha Bashim Kadash Shalom.